Sandy.
Boats drift silently in the gloom, save the sound of the oars as they move gently through the water. The cliffs seem to loom up in the darkness like great watchmen, staring menacingly down upon the invading enemy. Suddenly, as if in some sort of spontaneous combustion, the cliffs seem to explode. At first, it is just a succession of small lights, almost like a welcome, but there is nothing welcoming about the sound. Bullets begin to smash into the waves in front of the boats, spreading water and terror in equal measure. The sound soon turns to that of splitting wood, as bullets begin to bury themselves into the boat itself. The oars begin to move more urgently. The boats move quickly towards the shore now. All pretense of stealth abandoned through sheer fear and excitement. The boats hit the submerged sandbar with a soft crump, which is immediately echoed by the shells that fall heavily onto the narrow stretch of beach upon which they have landed. 20,000 men pour out of the boats. A combination of morbid enthusiasm and sheer terror served to push these young men towards the relentless bombardment of ammunition that seemed to be driving in upon them from all sides. A mass of bodies, some with brand new Enfield 303s, begins to form at the foot of the sheer cliff face, which the men are attempting to ascend. By day's end, they will own that beach. They will own those cliffs, part of a combined Allied force that storms the Gallipoli Peninsula at dawn 100 years ago today. 620 Australians died that day. Parents, siblings, children, mates. On the 4th of August 1914, after a diplomatic failure following the assassination of the Austro-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand, Britain declared war on Germany, and the history of the world was altered dramatically. Prior to the First World War, the Great British Empire had stretched to every continent and comprised just over a fifth of the Earth's surface. In her time of need, Britain called upon her colonies for help, and Australians answered the call enthusiastically. It was 100 years ago today that the first of the newly combined Australian and New Zealand Army Corps landed on the narrow beach at the place the Turks called Ari Burning. With Turkish machine guns and rifles firing upon them from three sides, these forces managed to storm the beaches and scale the steep rock faces in front of them, attacking Turkish positions and pushing further and further towards Chinook Bay, the steepest point of the Gallipoli Peninsula. As the great Australian war correspondent Charles W. Bean reported in his original report on the landing, the feat will go down for history is that first Sunday's fighting, when 3 Australian brigades stormed, in the face of fire, tier after tier of cliffs and mountains, apparently as impregnable as velvet sleep. The sailors who saw the 3rd Brigade go up those heights and over successive summits like a whirlwind with wild cheers and bayonets flashing, speak of it with tears of enthusiasm. But it would be to no avail. The Anzac forces at Gallipoli would never again push as far as they did on that first day. By the time the retreat call had been issued in late December 1915, just over 8,500 Australian soldiers have lost their lives. However, in the face of what was seemingly a military disaster, there emerged a new identity for the fledgling Australian nation, a new self-image that was forged on the rocky slopes of Gallipoli. The ideals of mateship, honour and bravery became the standard of Australian culture. Australia was an ideological underdog who has stood up and performed above all the expectations of the great imperial powers, and Australians everywhere were proud. This is the story of a nation, this nation, but it is also the story of the individuals who fought for her and the townships that supported them. Townships like Corowa were integral in providing enthusiastic troops, nurses, and support for the war effort. In fact, an article from the Albury Banner and Wodonga Express on Friday the 15th of June 1917 discusses the reaction of the Corowa township upon the death of Private Les Hannah, the son of the previous police sergeant. The article records a meeting of the Returned District's Wounded Soldiers Fund on Thursday the 7th of June for the purpose of arranging the handing over of £175 and 5 shillings raised in the Losedale district. This is just one example of many that are reported in which residents of Corowa and the surrounding districts engaged in fundraising efforts to support the families of deceased and wounded soldiers. Other methods include hosting fetes and markets, agricultural shows, and Australian Red Cross fundraising events, such as Australian Red Cross Day in April 1918. New South Wales public schools were called upon to contribute to this fundraising effort, and Corowa Public School was listed as one of the outstanding contributors, raising £67 for the effort. In fact, Corowa Public School was an excellent example of the type of patriotism that was typical in small country towns during World War I. This photograph shows students from their school with their soft barometer. Organisations such as the Red Cross and the Soldiers' Sock Fund encouraged all members of Australian society to knit socks for Australian soldiers at the front. Clean socks were an essential item for soldiers who spent long periods of time in dirty, damp conditions, making diseases such as trench foot a genuine concern. The photograph displayed shows students at Corowa Public School in 1917 proudly displaying their contribution to the war effort. In all, the students were able to knit 140 pairs of socks, which will grow to provide an important service for the soldiers fighting overseas. It is this kind of community spirit that allowed towns such as Corowa to maintain a sense of genuine purpose in such a difficult and emotional period. In 1915, the New South Wales state government called upon the New South Wales Police to check the number of eligible servicemen that were available. In July 1915, around 265 recruiting centres were established in country New South Wales, including one in Corowa. On the 13th of October that same year, the Corowa Recruiting Centre recorded an unusually high number of volunteers for a farming community such as this. The numbers showed that of the 400 eligible men, 220 had volunteered for the military service. This comprised around 55% of the eligible population. This included men such as Henry Armstead, who, after training in Seymour, Victoria, travelled with the 37th Battalion to London before dying of bronchitis and pneumonia in France, as well as William Herbert Criswell, who was shot in the thigh in the first day of the Gallipoli campaign, dying of his wounds in an Alexandria hospital on the 6th of May 1915. These are men who experienced legend, men who helped to define new Australian identity. But most importantly, they were men from Corowa, proving themselves on the world stage. Edward Anstey was one such local. A family man, Anstey signed up at age 39, only 1 month short of his 40th birthday. Anstey was a local blacksmith who made the decision to go to war in order to serve king and country. Anstey married May Walker and with her had 6 children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. As one of 13 children himself, Anstey had a keen interest in family life, which is evident in the correspondence he shares with his children, including this letter to his son, Ninian.
Dear son, I am writing you a few lines to tell you I am having a lovely trip, but I wish I was in Corowa with you again. But I may not be away long. You must be a good boy, look after the garden, go to school, and take care of your mother. I will send some cards from the place we are going, as soon as I get there. I saw a lot of natives of Colombo. You should have seen them diving in the sea for money. Throw it in, and they will dive in and get it. No more now, from your loving father.
On the 15th of September 1914, Edward Alfred Anstey took his first step towards the war front when he enlisted himself in the Australian Imperial Force in Sydney. The brown parchment of his enlistment form reads, Edward Anstey, service number 464 of the 30th Infantry Battalion. The 30th Battalion, alongside the 40th, 50th and 60th Infantry Battalions, formed the 4th Brigade, commanded by Colonel John Rutledge, sailing first to Albany, Western Australia, before proceeding to Cairo for training. Anstey trained in Egypt for 2 months, engaging in cultural activities and military drills. In Egypt, the 4th Brigade had become a part of the New Zealand and Australian division, where they would then take their next step to Gallipoli. In the late afternoon of the 25th of April 1915, the 4th Brigade arrived on the shores of Anzac Cove, awaiting their fate. This is where the 4th Brigade would then play their key role in first establishing, then defending the Anzac front line. The 30th Battalion would go to be involved in numerous attacks on the Gallipoli Peninsula and the Western Front, including charges on Chinook Bay and Poitiers. However, on the 27th of April 1915, and the days after landing at Anzac Cove, Anstey was struck by a bullet through his left thigh, expanding and fracturing his right side and rendering him immobile. After being evacuated from the trenches, on the 3rd of May 1915, he was admitted to the HMT Gloucester Castle. Conditions on the ship were not great for men in this condition, and subsequently, Edward would learn on the 8th of May that his wound had become gangrenous. From that point, the infection spread quickly, and Edward would not make it to the port. He was buried at Chapley Military Cemetery on the 10th of May 1915. Another headstone marking the body of a man far from his home and his family. Edward Anstey was one of 4 Anstey brothers who volunteered for military service. 2 brothers, Ernest and Ralph, made it home to their families. But unfortunately, Edward's brother Joseph was killed on the Western Front in 1918. While these men are a minute portion of the devastation of World War I, their deaths serve to remind us of something powerful that exists in town practice. Edward Anstey was a Corowa local. He worked here. He brought up his children here. He made a wife here. Upon receiving news of his death, Edward's wife, May, received a memorial plaque, colloquially referred to as a dead man's teddy. This is recognition from the British government of Anstey's military service and the ultimate sacrifice that he made in answering the call. This man represents what we wanted our Anzac heroes to be, and it is important that we remember him and all of Corowa's military representatives in exactly that fashion. For his valour, Edward Anstey received the 1914 to 1915 Star Medal upon his active service for the landing at Anzac Cove. Anstey received a British War Medal for his enthusiastic response answering Britain's call and fighting in World War I. He also received a Victory Medal upon the evacuation of the 4th Brigade of Anzac Cove. This shows Edward Anstey's small yet significant contribution to the war effort, and he is still recognised to this day for his bravery and selflessness. The experience of World War I took the old colonial rivalries that predated the Federation and replaced them with a new unified identity. To paraphrase David Patterson, so now we'll toast the 3rd Brigade that led Australia's van, but never shall their glory fade in mind Australian. Fight on, unflinchingly, to right and justice reign. Fight on, till victory shall send you home again. And with Australia's flag shall fly, spray of water will bow, to symbolise our unity for all Australia now. The landing on Gallipoli on this day, 100 years ago, marked Australia's spiritual birth as a nation. It unified us like never before, and that bond has been strengthened every year since. With gala beneath memorials and epitaphs to commemorate those that were there. This year, let's remember our men and women. Those from the Corowa district who helped to forge a history so significant that it has brought us here together today. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row, they mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith, with us you die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. And with the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.